Hi guys, welcome back to Create with Kate. Today I'm going to use an AI tool called Relume to help speed up my design process in Figma, and I'm going to show you how. Firstly, you're going to want to go to relume.io. I'll put the link in the description and we're going to go launch. Something you need to know is that Relume has different pricing plans, so you can get started on a free account. Relume has integrations with both Figma and Webflow. So just know if you choose the free account, you do have some limitations, and one of those includes you can only export to Figma. However, I'm going to show you how to use Figma within this account. Once Relume has launched, you'll see it will bring up your dashboard, and this will contain all your projects. For the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to create a new project. Relume has 3 great features. 1 a sitemap, 2 a wireframe, and 3 the style guide. So we need to start with the sitemap. Now for the description, what we're looking for here is 3 things. Firstly, the company description. Secondly, the goals that you have for your website. And thirdly, any other relevant notes. So for the purpose of this project, I'm going to mock up a surf shop. And with that being said, I've actually generated a list of notes here already. So I've generated what the company description is, what my goals are, and any other relevant notes. So to go through it quickly, my company description just describes my surf shop, where we're based, what we're going to sell, and just to let Relume know that the customers can shop online or come down in person. So my goals are to make an e-commerce site, as well as to have people visit us in person. And then any other relevant notes, I've included a set of target audience, some of the items we're going to sell, and also just a visual style. So all I'm going to do is copy and paste into my description. Number of pages, I'm going to say between 5 and 10, and I'm just going to switch the English to English UK, as that's the English I use, and say generate sitemap. You'll see it will start to load different sections. It just lets you know your time. It starts off with the home page, and then we'll build out other pages as needed. Boom, it's complete. What you can do is you can come here and go through the sections it's chosen. There's obviously some basics that you'll want, such as like your navigation, your hero section, a footer. It's also decided to build an about us page, products, blog, what a blog post looks like. And in terms of our products, it's switched it into surfboards and wetsuits. All of these are fully customizable. So for example, if we don't want a testimonial section on our sitemap, we can just delete it. You can also come and add in additional sections, or swap. You can even swap them. So maybe we want our call to action to be last. We don't want a contact section. These are the suggestions that Relume has come up with, but you can also come and add additional pages. So for example, I want a contact us section. Now you can either manually build by adding in sections, or you can say generate content, and Relume will do the hard work for you. You can also come up here and switch your pages around. You can come and add additional pages to it. And again, everything is customizable, so you can choose. Once you're happy with the way the sitemap is, and I do suggest you try and get the sitemap as accurate as possible, move on to the wireframe. And this is where, for me, the true magic happens. You'll see it's all automatically generating content and populating my website with different sections. So we'll give it a minute or 2. All right, now it has generated my wireframe for my website. And this is where we can come and edit. This is our homepage. They have chosen this layout for our navigation. If you click on the navigation, you can then select different options that Relume has available. And now you can see different options available, and you can select the one that you like the most. To make it simple, I'm just going to go with the first navigation. And what's great is you get global instances, and those will be applicable to all your website pages. So as you can see, if you update something on the homepage, or if we come to the about section and change it out to something else, it updates everywhere throughout the site. You can go through each little section. For example, if you like this section, you can decide, do you want it in a card style, normal? Do you want a background? Maybe you don't want a background. Maybe you want a video playing rather. Do you want a form instead of a button? You can also shuffle the component. You can get Relume to also generate copy. So that's based on the prompting that we gave it in the sitemap, and we can change things up. Maybe for this section, we want a complete different layout. So there's many available. If there's also something that you specifically want, so let's add a section and add some stats to just show all the great stats, maybe the amount of surfboards we've sold or happy customers. You can type into the search bar and it will bring up the different options available. And again, you can come in and select, let's say we want to go with this version, and it's also going to come here and generate copy, which is fantastic. Again, we can decide, do we want type 1? Do you want type 2? Shall we shuffle? Do you want a video? No background? Maybe you don't like the way that this is set out. You can come and try a different layout. So let's go with this this one. It's really cool how it also just generates a bit of copy so you can try and understand how it's going to come out. For our different services, maybe we want to do that. We want to add a 4 grid. So everything is pretty customizable, which is amazing. We can also come in here and click, and we can ask AI, maybe rewrite, shorten it. You can replace things within here. It's very interactive. Maybe for this testimonial section, I want a different type. I quite like a rating system. Can do 2. Let's just do the 1. I prefer that for now. We want it on a slider. You can also come in here and add like another section. Let's do a call to action, quite like this. I'm just gonna swap it with my footer, make it a global section, so it should update across the site. Got lots of different options available that you can come and edit as in how you wish. Just know some of the sections, like you can't necessarily delete or remove all the options. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, and just play around, see what works for you. Let's scroll over to the contact page. Sometimes with the contact page, I've noticed that it will duplicate the content, so we can just go with which section we feel. Once you're happy with how the wireframe turns out, we can go over to style guide, and this is where the true magic of UI happens. First we start with colors, then we're going to go to our topography, and lastly UI styling before we decide to export into either Figma or Webflow depending on which package you have. Firstly we're going to start with neutrals. So Relume has generated some neutrals, got them in pastel, mid-tone and deep. I'm just going to lock them in. Now when you are happy with certain colors, you want to lock them in because a really nice feature that Relume offer is style. And if you don't lock them in, all your colors are going to change. So I have selected this Bermuda, which I really like, and lock in. And I'm just going to show you, for example, what you can do is when you add in a color, you can add in as many as you want, but you can actually come and click in and you can copy your exact hex code that you want. It will also show you the shades listed down below, which is useful for later. We can also remove. If we only wanted one color, we could have one. And then if you click on shuffle, it's going to try and match this color to go with your chosen color that you've locked in. So these are just ones that Relume recommend. However, you can come in yourself and go to a color that you like. I'm going to select this one, just going to lock it in. What's nice is you can view in light and dark mode. If I switch to dark mode, you can see things have changed for that. If I switch to light mode, again, they've changed. Now we can go to our topography. So these are just fonts that are selected by Relume. So again, if you don't like what Relume has suggested, you can come and change. You can also switch to say you only want them to be Google fonts. You can shuffle as well. I'm just going to leave as is for now and lock in as I quite like them. Lastly, we have our UI styling in terms of our buttons as well as our cards. So if we click, you can see the different options available to you. I am just going to stick with default as I quite like that. And then we can select in terms of how round you would like your buttons to appear. I quite like this one. Just gonna lock it in. And again with your cards, what's really nice with Relume as well is when you select the different options, you can see how they will appear on your design. I quite like edgy. Again, you can come and change the roundness of your cards. I'm going to match it to my buttons. Now, this is how the website is presenting now, and we can go in and modify this. If you just click on the background, Relume's going to update some images. So none of these are obviously applicable to a surf shop. You can also click edit images. You can choose from your own images what you'd like to go for, and it will populate it up here. Then if we scroll to our section, if you click on the background, Relume's going to change it to a different shade that you've selected. What you can do is you can hold command and it's going to bring up all the different tones within your chosen color. For this one, I want just neutral to go with our white, and the stats section is quite important. I want to make that quite obvious. This can also be white, and we can upload another image, a more relevant image. And our last image, let's switch it out. Okay, now let's scroll to the top and you can see this is how our website is presenting. Nice thing is you can also see on mobile how it's going to look. It's always helpful. So now this is our first concept, concept 1. What's really nice is you can come and make an additional 2 concepts. So I'm just going to say duplicate concept. Now you can see it's changed over to concept 2. So for this, let's go deselect our layers and let's change it up a little. Make a bit of a, go for a dark blue. And actually I want to see what Relume suggests to use with it. Let's switch back to our desktop. You can see it's already updating the design to what we selected prior, but obviously you can come and change it completely. Let's try out some different fonts. So what's really cool is it will recommend similar fonts to what you've liked. Let's do a little shuffle, see what it thinks will do well. I just want to create a totally new design. Sometimes your clients want something so out of the box. We can give that a try. Let's do completely round. We've got a second concept. So really with a few clicks of the button, you can see you've got a completely new style. And let's just go ahead and create one more. Let's see, try new. Let's see if it comes up with something totally different. I'm just gonna go and pop in our existing images just to give a better view of a surf shop. Okay, now that I've popped in the images, you can see it looks like a totally different website. And even if we view on mobile, it's looking quite different, which is fantastic. And we can also view it on dark mode to give you the idea of how it will look there. Okay, once you're happy with all three concepts, you're going to want to go to pitch deck. And here are your top 3 concepts, the ones that you have generated. So where this is quite useful is if you're designing for some clients, you can already send them a full page preview and they can go ahead and say, yes, they're liking the style, they're liking the UI, they're liking the structure, or no. So it's quite easy to get some feedback and it's very easy to send. You can just say copy link, and this is what it's going to look like to your clients, and they can come and click and view each concept that you have generated for them, as well as the little description that you have left for them. Once your client comes back with feedback, if you want to do it that way, the next step is then to export. Now we can export into Figma and to Webflow, as well as React and HTML, and this is because I'm on the pro account. I'm just going to show you how to export to Figma. This screen is going to pop up and it's going to want you to get a copy of the Relume Figma kit, as well as to have the plugin ready. So you can come here and click get Figma kit, and this is what it looks like. And we're going to need to open this within Figma. So you can just click on that and it's going to open it within Figma for you. Be patient, it does take a little while. This has how to use it. It then has spaces for your sitemap, style guides, concepts, design, and then you have all your components here. So for example, if we check navigation, it has all the different navigation options available for both desktop and mobile, just as we saw within Relume. All right, so let's go back to our workspace and we can click on sitemap, and we're just going to come down here to actions in Figma and we're going to type in Relume, and this is the Relume plugin that you will use. You just click on it and give it a moment to open up. What you will need to do, if you haven't already, is connect it to your Figma account, and that is super simple. It's just a click of a button, but this has been connected and it brings up all the different projects available to me. So I'm going to select on my surf shop, as that's the example we are busy working on right now. Here are the different options that you can import. Do you want to import your style guide and concept, your wireframe, or your sitemap? You can select all 3 or just one at a time. So I'm going to click on sitemap and literally the magic happens. It also will notify you how much work you've saved. You can click done. If I just zoom out here, you can see here is the sitemap that Relume's built for me. Now I'm going to go to my wireframe and I'm going to do the exact same, except this time I'm going to click on wireframe. You can import all the pages, or you can choose to select certain pages that you want to import, but I'm just going to import all for now. Just give it a minute and it will update everything for you. Ta-da! It tells us we've saved 11 hours and 45 minutes. Zoom out. It has now gone and created our wireframes in both the desktop and the mobile version, all across. If at this stage you're unhappy with the layout of something, you can still change it and you can come and edit. Maybe you want less wording. There are top picks for surfboards. Or we actually don't want this here. Or this image is way too big. Let's scale it down. The options are pretty endless. If you've already exported into Figma and you wish to make a change, what you can do is you can come down here to your different sections. So let's say we want a contact section, and here's all the different components that are available in Relume. They're also here in Figma, so you can just come here and copy across to your wireframe. It's obviously not as fast, but you have exported it already. You can just paste. You can see it pops it neatly in. Another option is you can always come back to Relume, change your components, and then re-export. Lastly, we're just going to come here and we're going to export our concepts. So go back into our surf shop, style guide and concept. You can choose which concept you want. So I quite like the first one, so we're going to do that. And again, just wait for it to import into Figma. And here it is, and it tells us we've saved 7 hours. Here is my concept with both the desktop and mobile version basically done. You can of course come in here and edit everything. You can change the padding within the containers. You can obviously increase the size of things, change the fonts. It's a perfectly working file. That's it. From here, you can decide if you want to build this in whatever site builder you wish. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below, as well as leave me a little silly emoji to let me know that you enjoyed this type of content. Otherwise, see you in the next video.